That's right, everybody. Election Day 2020. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to jump on the mic here and get you guys a podcast for those of you that are just sitting at home, nervously waiting for the election results to start coming in. I'm Jason Grandin. I'm your host with the Grandin Group. And welcome to another episode of Arizona Real Estate Showcase, brought to you by the Grandin Group, Arizona's #1 brother and sister team, powered by Corcoran Platinum Living Realty, right here in beautiful Cave Creek, Scottsdale, Arizona. Hey, I'll tell you what a year we've had so far. Halloween was absolutely fantastic. The kids were out. It was just, you know what? It was great. I think a lot of the stuff that we've been told is not necessarily 100% true, but either way, the kids were out having a good time. I know in my front yard we had about 75 people in the front that were hanging out, and then there was about 30 teenagers from my 14-year-old in the backyard in the pool of all things, and it wasn't heated. So anyways, people are ready to get out and do stuff. Today is November 3rd, and we are doing the full presidential election. So again, we try not to get into the politics because obviously in real estate, which is going to be the topic today, in real estate, we're serving everybody. But before we do get started, I am going to have to point out a few things real quick for Scottsdale and Cave Creek, just because I have those in front of me. So Cave Creek, we did an episode a few weeks ago on the importance of a school board and how it affects the community, and it has a direct value on your home prices. So whether you're buying or selling, it has a direct value. So with that said, this year, a buddy of mine started a PAC, and we've been working on a lot of the political campaigns. And one of the things for Cave Creek, we have to let you know, if you're a Cave Creek listener right now, we need you to vote for Terry Thatcher, Trinity Wilson, and Janet Busby. These are 3 conservative, kid-first, very transparent people that we need on the school board. The other ones are fine. We actually interviewed one of the other ones, and she was really great and stuff. But if you're leaning more conservative, which Cave Creek does, those are the ones you want on the board. So Trinity Wilson, Janet Busby, and Terry Thatcher. If you're voting in Cave Creek, Arizona, or the Cave Creek Unified School District, that's who you want. If you're in Scottsdale on your school boards, your selection was absolutely atrocious. I cannot believe some of the people running. But with that said, the ones that you want on for the Scottsdale school boards that are going to give you the best are Lucy DeGrazia and Kathleen Angelos. So keep those people in mind when you're out voting if you're looking for the school board. Do not just leave it blank. It's important. Also, Scottsdale City Council. This guy became a really good friend of mine. I got to tell you, Guy Phillips, what an absolute great guy. Had a chance to work with him. He's running, I believe it's his 3rd and final term. So hopefully he gets it. He also has a book out called Of Courage and Character. In fact, I've got a couple copies here. We gave one out, so I've got 2 more. And any of you want one, I will have them signed and sent to you. Also, another lady who became a really good friend of ours, state representative. She handles Scottsdale, Fountain Hills, and Rio Verde. I absolutely think this gal is just fantastic, and that is Michelle Eugenie Rita. Absolutely fantastic. She's on your ballot if you're in Scottsdale, Fountain Hills, or Rio Verde. You want to make sure she gets in. And then, of course, Scottsdale needs to have a mayor, and I've spent a lot of time talking to and hanging out with Lisa Borowski. The choice is pretty clear on it. She's going to be good for the horse people. She's good for the community. She's good for not having a ton of stuff built up right around you and so forth. So anyways, it's election season. You guys, if you have questions, if you're local in Scottsdale, Arizona, Cave Creek, or just anywhere in Arizona, I have the information you want, depending on what side you want to vote for. And then we can get onto that. But so let's talk about credibility. The whole election's been about who's credible, who's not, and so forth. So we're going to talk about this today, about the real estate stuff. And there's been a few issues that have popped up. So I was talking to my sister Stacy, who is the partner of mine in the Grandin Group. And one of the things that we've been running into are these agents that do not submit their offers to their clients. It is absolutely 100% ridiculous, unethical, and a great way to lose your license. So we have, and it's 3 or 4 agents here in the past month. So let me backtrack here real quick. So for those of you that are just joining in or have been listening, which, by the way, thank you so much, you guys, for listening to the show. We've got a lot of listeners now, and it's great. I mean, it's exciting. I go out, and people will say, hey, I know your voice, and it's so funny. But anyways, so the real estate market, there's a lot of new realtors. As you know, Arizona real estate market is very hot. Whether you're renting, buying, or selling, it's hot. And right now what we're starting to see, which I don't like, is you're starting to see some of these realtors, usually the newer ones or the ones that have this idea of what the real estate market is, which is really not, going in and they'll price a house that's worth, let's say, $300,000 max, and they'll price it at $450,000, maybe $500,000. And you go in, you show it, you make an offer based on the comps that you pull, because we do an extensive comp pool, not just from the MLS. We look around at a lot of different information. And we send an offer in, and the realtor's offended. And then they don't submit it to their client, which is another horrible thing. So one of the things, and we've preached this in some of the past episodes in the previous seasons, is that whether you're buying a house or you're selling a house, you need to interview realtors. You need to obviously talk to us, but you need to interview realtors and find out what's really going on. So let's just say you're listening right now and you're thinking, you know what? I have a house. The market's up, which it is. You live Chandler, Cave Creek, Fulton Ranch, wherever you are. And your house, you paid a year ago for it. Let's say you paid $500,000 for it a year ago. Now today, you're like, well, the market's so good, I want to see if I can get $650,000. Well, a professional, full-time realtor is not going to come in and say, oh, yeah, your house is worth $650,000 just to get the listing. Because we do spend a lot of money, or we should, I should say, spend a lot of money promoting your house, not the realtor, your house. So a real realtor, a professional, one that really knows what's going on, is not going to come in and say, okay, you paid $500,000 last week for your house, let's put it on the market at $650,000. It's just not going to happen, and it's not even worth wasting time on it. But what's not worth wasting time is that when that person gets showing and that realtor doesn't submit offers. So prime example, my sister found a house the other day. It was $525,000, and they just paid $375,000 for it less than a year ago. So my sister ran the comps on it. They did very few upgrades on it, but it still needs a lot more. So the house, if she felt, was $485,000. She felt that, they made a pretty good profit on it. Day one on the market, my sister goes in, makes an offer $485,000. Realtor calls her back and says, you know what? You might want to make your offer better. This is not very good. It's a little ridiculous. And nothing. Don't hear from the realtor. 2 days later, my sister calls and says, hey, how's our offer? She goes, we got so many showings, we just don't have time to get to it. The owners are out of town. Okay, so needless to say, they have not sold it in a matter of 2 days. Well, now, at the time of this podcast, it's a week. The house is still sitting on the market. No offers. I'm sure there are showings, but not as many as there was on day one. She's got an offer of $485,000 sitting on the table, and nothing's getting done. This is the kind of thing that a lot of people don't talk about it. And if you go on real estate sites and stuff like that, the other thing they don't like to talk about is commissions. And obviously Armless and the board and National Association of Realtors don't like the realtors out there talking about the commissions. But the fact is, everything is negotiable. And you have these realtors that get into the business because they think, oh, I'm flipping hamburgers now, but I'm going to get into real estate, make a few $1,000s extra a year. It's not that easy. I'm 17, 18 years into this, and it's just been recently. I mean, we've always been successful, don't get me wrong, but it's just been over the past couple of years as we're learning that we've taken it over. We've crossed over a line that we wanted to be at, and we're to the next level. That's what realtors should focus on. So you hire a realtor to sell your house. That realtor should be willing to spend money. If they don't have any money, they can't market your house properly. And putting it on Facebook, putting it on the MLS is not marketing your house properly. You need to have full color flyers, virtual tours, and I don't care if it's a trailer or if it's a $10 million mansion. These are things that need to be done, and not little flimsy paper flyers, you need full color flyers with a professional marketing program because it's all about presentation. And in today's world, people can see this thing online too. So we got to make sure we hit everything. So anyways, so the one thing you want to do is when you're selling a house, make sure that you have a realtor that has money to market, that has broker support, that has a good team behind them. So if they're working for our brokerage is Corcoran Platinum Living. So we were recently acquired by one of the largest luxury brands in the world. What does that mean? Unlike, like a different brokerage, that means I've got 45,000 plus agents worldwide. When we list your house, it goes out to them. But I don't just send it out and say, hey, I got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house for sale in Scottsdale if anybody wants it. We send out a marketing program to all the people across the world, and it's great because we're getting people from, Saudi Arabia. We just sold a couple horse ranches like that. We're getting people from places they've never even heard of that want to move to Arizona. So when you're selling your house, these are the things you got to kind of be conscious of. But back to the realtor part of it, these realtors need to know that they work for you, buyer or seller, and even renters. The realtor works for you, not the other way around. We give advice. Mr. Buyer, Mr. Seller, I personally think A, B, and C. I believe this house is worth this much money based on the information I pulled here. I believe you could sell your house for this much based on the information I pulled here and the way the market is, and we have buyers coming in from here and there. That's my opinion. Buyer, seller, what can I do for you? And you're the boss. And that's how the approach, in my mind, should go. Yes, you hired us to be an expert, but ultimately, you're the boss. Jason, Stacy, I want $500,000 for my house. How can you get me $500,000 for my house when I just paid $450 for it 6 months ago? Okay, perhaps we can do this, and this that would increase it that much. Or maybe there's nothing that can be done. But either way, this is the realtor's job, and again, they work for you. We go online. I know everybody's online these days looking at houses, and it's absolutely crazy. It's funny when you go online and you see some of the realtors standing in front of the pool with their bathing suits on, saying, hey, I got a new listing, or perhaps they're in a new car they bought, or they're at the dealership looking at a car they can't afford, but they want you to kind of think, oh, I'm driving a Ferrari, therefore I'm great. It comes down to ethics and credibility and stuff. So, but with that said, you always want to kind of look at social media pages and kind of feel where your realtor is at. I mean, if they're out there promoting something that you just don't agree with, it's going to be a tough relationship. So you've got to kind of also be on the same page. And I'll tell you what, we have to watch what we post. Now, I'm not the best at that because I'm when you meet me and my sister, we're very straightforward. You know exactly where we stand, and we're proud of it. But we don't criticize the other side as well. So, we believe in when we're taking a listing or even selling a house, that this is a huge life decision, that it's important that we market. It's important that you get what you want. When you're buying a house, we don't want you to settle. We don't say, oh, I know you need a 3-bedroom, but you know what? This is a 2-bedroom, and it's great. We don't want you to settle. We want you to have a great experience so you'll tell other friends. So, and what's great, I'm going to go on this little tangent for a minute here. This year, 2020, we have had, out of all our listeners, and this is great, we have had 4 sales from people listening to this podcast come here from out of state and purchase a house. And I know my sister took a couple of you to dinner the other night, and it was awesome, she said. And sorry I couldn't be there because I had other commitment. But she said it was awesome. And they said that, if we hadn't heard from Arizona Real Estate Showcase, we don't know that we would have been here. That is such a proud moment for me to hear that kind of stuff. I can't even begin to tell you. It's absolutely awesome. So, anyways, so just like a job interview, if you're going to hire a maid, if you're going to hire your hair salon lady, guy, whatever, or you're going to, you want to work with like-minded people. You want to work with somebody that works for you, and you want to be able to go to bed at night knowing, hey, you know what? this person has my back. So when you're in the real estate market, just like these elections, and that's kind of where we're tying this thing into. I know I'm kind of ranting around today, but it's kind of the same concept. Pick a value, find the value, and work with that value. Hire that value, and it'll be a really good, pleasant experience. Now, what makes the experience in real estate sometimes challenging is when you have one side or the other, and usually it's the realtor that won't communicate. So we submit an offer, they don't communicate, they don't get back to you. We're dealing with one right now. 10 days ago, they were supposed to have the appraisal done, and as of today, it's still not done. But when you call the realtors, I was out of town for 10 days and I didn't have cell phone service. 100% unacceptable. So for those of you that are thinking about hiring, my friend just got their license and they take off on vacation and they don't have a backup plan, they don't have somebody answering their phone for them, I would seriously think again about using that person. And that goes for those of you that are buying a house as well. If you cannot get a hold of somebody on the team, it's probably not going to be a good fit. The one thing that Grannon Group has made it essential is that one of us are always here. So we have a team of there's 6 or 7 of us on the team. We handle everything from Maricopa County all the way up past Flagstaff. We got a great team. One thing that will never happen, all of us will never be out of town all at the same time. So my sister and I obviously are the leaders of the team. So if I have to go out of town, my sister will be here that week that I'm gone, or that day, or whatever it is. If she goes out of town, I make sure that I'm here. So it's always important to communicate your schedule. And it's good on the team part of it because they should know you. They should have the file. This is the buyer, this is the seller doing this or that. So we have a good feel for you. You'll get some agents that are like, hey, I'm working by myself, but I'm going to be out of town. But you can call my broker, or you can call the other agent in my office, and they'll show you. They don't know you. They don't know what you're looking for. So it's kind of good that you have somebody that knows you. And it ties into the ethics and everything else with the business. So anyways, Election Day 2020, it's the same thing. I mean, you vote for what you feel is best. You vote for the person that's going to represent you. You vote for the person that's going to fight for you. And you vote for the person that is going to get the job done. And yes, we're talking about real estate. And we are talking about Arizona real estate. This is a great market. I love Arizona. Native, born and raised. Love Arizona. I love seeing new people coming to Arizona. We have a lot of people from Portland coming. We have a lot of people from California, Chicago, Kansas. It's great. I love watching when you guys get here. It's funny. We took a client out about a week ago, and they're from back east, and they've never been out of the city. So guess where I took them? I took them right into the heart of Cave Creek. And they went over, and they're looking at this town, which is phenomenal, and absolutely loved it. So that guy now, before he went back to New York, they're looking to be up in North Scottsdale, Cave Creek, but he went and bought himself his first pair of boots and a cowboy hat. And it is so funny and great watching somebody make that transformation. Speaking of hats, I've got to give a little shout out to a new friend of mine. And actually, I've known him for years. I've known his dad. And we had a great conversation the other day. Eric Watson Hat Company right here in Cave Creek. The guy is absolutely classic. He does an incredible job on custom hats. So if you need one, look up Watson Hats. I'll have his information below. You can always contact me. So anyways, everybody, be careful. Oh, hey, before we're going to go off on one more tangent. So for those of you that are movie buffs, there's a movie out there called The Purge. And The Purge is about, the government had been taken over, and it's called The New Founding Fathers. And so for those of you that don't know this, the New Founding Fathers created a night where one night a year, they call it The Purge, everything is legal. Murder, whatever, everything's legal. It's a weird movie. But it's actually kind of good, and it's kind of funny because it seems like we're getting closer and closer to this. I have people coming in from other cities that have been rioted on and stuff, and it reminds me of this movie because their city officials and the police aren't doing anything about people rioting, breaking in, and all this stuff, and it's horrible. I don't see that happening in Arizona anywhere in Arizona. So for those of you that are in cities that are not being run the best, both sides, liberal and or Republican and Democrat, I should say, in Arizona, that's one common thing we all have is we want law and order. So it's safe. We want to have you here. We got great schools. We've got great cities. We got great restaurants. So back to the purge. Anyway, so they have the people that can do whatever for one night between 7 and 7. And it's a little wild. So it just kind of reminds me of some of the stuff we're seeing on the news. But with that said, you guys are going to love Arizona. Make Arizona a destination spot. If you're not ready to buy, call me up. I own instantrenters.com. Let's rent you a house first and figure out what area you want to live in. We're going to make sure you're very well taken care of. Man, I'll tell you, hey, have a safe election day. Again, sorry this thing was kind of just ranting today, but it was kind of a last minute. I plan on doing another podcast tomorrow on some different subjects. But with everything going on with the election and everything coming through our feed, I thought I'd call and give you guys something else to listen to, maybe take your mind off 7 p.m. tonight when the results start coming in. All right. Hey, Jason Grandin with the Grandin Group, Arizona's #1 brother and sister real estate team, powered by Corcoran Platinum Living. You can like us on Facebook, WeMe, Parler, Twitter, the whole 9 yards, the Grandin Group. Look forward to talking to you guys. Happy Election Day. We'll be back the next day or so with this new topic. And thank you so much for listening to Arizona Real Estate Showcase. We'll talk to you soon. You guys have a good one.